Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. It's all quiet in the world of Manchester City right now. There's not much going on, but you look across the road at Old Trafford, you have a look at Salford across the road, and it's all a bit of a soap opera, a bit of a drama right now. It's all kicking off. Jadon Sancho versus Erik ten Hag, or is it Jadon Sancho versus the club? Either way, it's drama. It's a soap opera, it's mismanagement, it's a unrest. It's an example of a club that behind the scenes is in turmoil and uncertainty, but then you come back to our neck of the woods and all the oiled cogs are just turning nicely. The machine is purring gently. Even though all the players are away on international break, there is no drama at Manchester City. It's a team full of good lads who keep their head down and crack on with what matters, and that is the football. No statements in the press from Jadon Sancho, no statements from Erik ten Hag into the press as well, announcing, kicking off on each other basically, and just moaning and bitching, and it's just unrest. And this got me thinking about the amount of players that United have signed that City were this close to signing themselves. Now, I've got 5 players to give you that City were this close to signing, that signed for Manchester United, and effectively they were failures and they were flops. And for every one of these players, I've got a counter player that City signed instead of that player and is still at the club at Manchester City and is infinitely better and has hit the ground running and is just more or less a clear as day, black and white. There is so obviously how much better the City players have done compared to the 5 players I'm going to give you that joined Manchester United and the impact that they had on their respective clubs. Let's get started. Cristiano Ronaldo. A name, a very big household name, of course he is, but is he a Manchester United legend or is he a Real Madrid legend? For me, he's a Real Madrid legend. He made his name at United in terms of he improved at Manchester United, but he was finding his feet. You know, the records that he got at United were reasonable. They were pretty good, very good. He went on to Real Madrid, and that's where he made a name for himself. That's where it became the Lionel Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo debate. That's where the debate started, not at United. That's where he became the best. But then his career sort of grew and grew and grew, and after that he was on the decline, and he thought, right, I'll get up some Premier League football, find some minutes again. And he used Manchester City to get his move. Now, for me, if I was a United fan, I'd be insulted by that because that's him indicating to United that he thinks City are the bigger club because he's used them as a pawn, as a chess piece to get the move that he wants to go back to Manchester United. And rather than just approaching United normally, he used us instead as a platform to scare them into making a bid for him, into approaching him as the player and saying, right, we want you, don't sign for City, whatever you do. Rio's like, get Fergie on the phone, Fergie's about to sign for City. About to sign for City. Like, all that stuff went on. Hilarious, because then the player went and scored a few goals in the first couple of months, but then the unrest started, the on-the-pitch tantrums, not being brought on as a substitute, and before the final whistle, he's walking off down the touchline and probably putting his coat on. In training, he was leaving early, and this prima donna, egotistical twat that he is, basically just went and proved what a failure he was at Manchester United and how he is bigger than Manchester United. He himself thinks he's bigger than Manchester United, and if that's not destroying your legacy at Manchester United, I don't know what is. And at the time, we needed a number 9. We were looking for a number 9 to replace Sergio Aguero. We didn't need to do that for the first year because we won the league without a number 9, if you remember that. Following season, we did need a number 9. And who's our number 9 right now? Erling Haaland, isn't it? Of course, that's who we did sign instead. And that worked out pretty well, didn't it? Worked out reasonably well. Next player, Alexis Sanchez. Now, this one hurt me. I remember because I felt like City at the time, we were trying to grow. And this was a marquee signing that we hadn't signed that calibre of player really yet. And with United being in for him and the deal just fell apart, they ended up spending 35 million plus Henrik Mkhitaryan on him. Henrik Mkhitaryan, by the way, who was in the Inter Milan squad for the Champions League final against us last season in 2023. He was in a Champions League final facing Manchester City, Henrik Mkhitaryan. So that's who they got rid of. And they brought in Alexis Sanchez. And he joined in January. His last full season at Arsenal, what did he score now? What did he score? He scored 30 goals across all competitions. 30 goals for Arsenal in his final full season at Manchester United. In his first full season at Manchester United, 2 goals. Yeah, that's who they signed. Even he himself said after his first day of training, he was angling for a move out of the club. After his first day at training for Manchester United, he wanted to return to Arsenal. That is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And in the 17-18 transfer window, who did we sign? Bernardo Silva. That was our alternative. That's who we ended up with instead, a player that's just been an absolute gem. What a signing Bernardo Silva has been. The fee was respectable. I believe it was about 45 million or so we didn't break the bank for him, and he just plays across the whole midfield. He wins games. He sees out games. His game management's fantastic. Just the complete package of Bernardo Silva, his work rate, his attitude off the pitch, on the pitch, spot on. An immense player. Another example of a failure and a flop that we have dodged a bullet. Next player, Harry Maguire. £80 million record signing. And the reason why that's humorous is because we've just gone and signed who could go on to be one of the greatest centre-backs ever, potentially. He has that ceiling. He's only 21, so we are predicting, we're getting our crystal balls out and predicting the future of Josko Gvardiol. But in my eyes, I think this guy could go on to be one of the greats. And under Pep Guardiola, who says he won't? Who says he won't? But we didn't spend 80 million on him, did we? 77. We kept it just underneath their transfer fee that they spent on Harry Maguire. The guy's just, the only thing consistent about Maguire is mistakes. That's the only thing consistent about him. The fact that he comes off the bench against Arsenal the other week and alongside Johnny Evans, that's just an embarrassing defensive partnership in this day and age for Manchester United. The marking for Declan Rice's goal, for them to go 2-1 up in the 94th minute or something along those lines, it was just embarrassing defending. He's still at it, still at the club. What happened to him in Greece as well, I felt sorry for the guy. I actually feel sorry for Maguire because I do think there's a good player in there. He's just got confidence. He's dead. His confidence is dead. There was a good player in there. I don't think you're going to see a good player from Harry Maguire again. When he joined from Leicester, there is a reason why City are going in for these players, because they were good players at the time when we were approaching them. Now, I like to think that City would have got their hands on all of these players I'm going to give you, the ones I've already given you and I'm about to give you, and turn them into good players, or at least maintain their career progression to staying on the right path. Yet you join Manchester United and you fail, and it's an example of the paths the two clubs are on. And under the guidance of Pep Guardiola and Erik ten Hag and the Sheikh Mansour model and the Glazer model, it's just disastrous opposites for Manchester United. And Maguire fits the bill for being a disaster. And who did we get instead? Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz for a much cheaper fee. I think it was around 60-odd million, 69 million. I think it was around that. Worth every penny so far. You can't say the same about 80 million on Harry Maguire. Next, Fred. He has an ability to do the odd good game. I think he can be good every now and again, but it's that inconsistency for me that's just the problem. You know, he works hard. What did they sign him for? 60 million euros. They've spent 5 years at United. They spent 60 million euros on him, and then they sold him to Fenerbahce this summer for 9 million. What did he achieve in those 5 years at Manchester United? What did he really achieve? Did he even cement his position in the team? No. Did he become like an absolute guaranteed starting 11? Not a chance. You know, and did he make mistakes? Regularly. Yes, he did. Numerous times he was giving the ball away, caught with his back facing to David De Gea, receiving the ball and getting caught on the ball. I remember so many mistakes that were down to his poor control in dangerous positions. For me, could he have been another good player for City in defensive midfield, one of the hardest positions to play at City, with Pep Guardiola himself being a defensive midfielder? Everyone at City has indicated how difficult that role is. Being in defensive midfield in this team, the nucleus of Manchester City is defensive midfield. And who do we have right now? Rodri. You don't get any better defensive midfielder in the world right now than Rodri. The best. And was he the best when we signed him? No. Nowhere near. He was prone to mistakes. His first season, he was giving it away too often. He was giving goals away directly as a mistake in his first season. Second season, boom, his career just takes off. And now he's probably the first name on the team sheet every week. Another example of a failure versus a massive, massive success at Manchester City. Then, of course, there's Jadon Sancho, who we signed as a 14-year-old from Watford. I remember seeing the footage. The red flags were going off straight away, as he was being brought off as, I think he was about 15, 16 years old, being substituted off the pitch for Phil Foden. Now go and Google that, YouTube it, go and have a look at that clip. Phil Foden coming on the pitch as a kid for Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho throwing his shirt down, spitting, whatever, kicking off. Walking past Phil Foden offers his hand out, as every good teammate does. You give your high five to the guy you're coming off the pitch for. Go on, mate, have a good game, whatever it may be. Just walks right past Phil Foden. Get off me, mate. Walking past, sits on the bench and sulks like the little baby that he is. And I've always said a leopard never changes his spot. What's happening with Jadon Sancho right now as a fully grown man, as an adult? He's spitting his dummy out and being a little bitch about everything once again. What's Phil Foden doing? He's keeping his head down, cracking on, focusing on the football. He's not even getting the minutes that I think he deserves. But is he bitching in the media? No. No, he's not. He's cracking on with football. And he's going to start finding himself in the starting 11 of Manchester City. And it's another example of a failure and a flop. Now, that was number 5, but got a bonus for you. Throw in number 6, because I don't think every City fan is aware that we actually went in for Paul Pogba under Roberto Mancini, who Mancini himself said we did target him and was a bit disappointed that we didn't get him. And that was an interview that was the following season after Mancini was sacked from Manchester City. But how did that work out in the long run? Because that is a £90 million mistake. Again, another player. He's a fabulous dancer. Fabulous dancer. Brilliant. There's no knocking his dancing ability, but his footballing ability, 9 out of 10 games, awful. 1 out of 10 games, brilliant. Take the world by storm. Is that what you want for 90 million? £90 million gets you 1 out of 10 good performances. Unbelievable how inconsistent he was, the egotistical. The next best thing about Pogba was his hairstyle. That was the biggest attention drawn to him, was what's his next hairstyle going to be? Not when is he next going to score a good goal, not when is he even going to play well, when is he going to keep the ball and stop giving it away, when is he going to stop these fancy flicks and tricks that do nothing? You know, instead of being consistent on the pitch, it was just as his hairstyles. Inconsistent, totally inconsistent. Stick with the hairstyle, mate. Just give it for 1 year at least. Well, that's me done for 6. There are other players. These are just Manchester United players. So many players have come through. Mark Cucurella, we were in for him, of course. What's he doing now? Timo Werner, did you know we were in for him? What's he doing now? Lukaku, there is so many. Koulibaly. So many players that City have been in for that have gone on to be failures, and you always wonder, would they have become failures at City? Debatable. You could question City's transfer targets, like why are we going in for these players, and seeing how badly their careers turned out after the transfer saga had ended and we didn't end up with those players. Or would they have become good players under Pep? I like to think that, because all the players that we sign tend to go on to become better players. Certainly better players than they ended up with. Oh, and Paul Pogba, the other player that we signed instead of Paul Pogba, Kevin De Bruyne. I'll leave you with that one. Blues, get in the comments below. What are your opinions on these failures and flops that I've given you? Get in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is typical City now, holding up silver.